When you want to forecast business growth, what are the first metrics or KPIs that come to mind? You might be thinking sales revenue and net profit margin, or customer acquisition costs and conversion rates. But two metrics that people often miss, or at least put pretty far down on their list, is customer satisfaction and net promoter score. If you get these two metrics wrong, it's really only a matter of time before your business runs out of steam and your customers flock to your competitors. Welcome to Snackable CX, where we give you bite-sized guidance on how to stand out and be known for your customer experience. I'm Sam Salerno, here from Mindful, the best-in-class, total experience solution that aims to add kindness to your tech stack. All right, so before you think I'm crazy for shooting past all those other business growth metrics, I first want to clear the air. No one, including myself, would argue that revenue, sales margin, or a bunch of other metrics aren't critical to business growth. Ignore those, and you really don't have a business. But I think we all would agree that unless your customers are happy with what you offer, and this is just as important, how you offer it, the reality is they're not going to buy from you, and they'll tell their friends to do the same. Customer satisfaction drives retention, and Net Promoter Score indicates word-of-mouth advertising and future growth. And for that, I've got 3 steps to take in the contact center to improve your CSAT and NPS scores. First things first, if you want to improve CSAT and NPS, you need a customer-centric strategy that delivers on convenience. My guess is most businesses out there would say that they're pretty customer-centric, but today's customers just don't see it that way. Gladly's 2021 Customer Expectations Report found that 81% of U.S. consumers say customer service falls below their expectations. And at the top of their frustration list, they're peeved that they have to repeat their issues over and over again when interacting with service teams. On the flip side, those 19% of consumers who believe that customer service exceeds their expectations say that the most influential factor is the ability to have, quote, seamless conversation across all channels, unquote. Customer satisfaction, when you get down to the bare bones of it, is all about convenience. If you really want to put customers first and raise your CSAT and NPS scores, you need to make sure that you're meeting customers on their preferred channels, like text, chat, email, or phone, and making it easy for them to swap between those channels without losing their place or having to start their whole support journey over again. So, say a customer wants to self-serve using a chatbot on your website, but keeps coming up against the same canned chat responses. Convenience here might look like implementing a tool like Mindful Handoff to enable Chatbot AI to offer the customer a scheduled call from a live agent when it senses customer frustration. So instead of pointlessly butting heads with a bot, that customer can transfer their context, like who they are and what they need help with, to a voice channel, seamlessly carrying on their conversation without having to start over and repeat themselves. The less friction they experience in their journey, the more likely they are to have higher satisfaction and net promoter scores, keeping them and their friends coming back for more. Second, you got to track and improve on contact center metrics that affect CSAT and NPS. A lot of factors play a part in creating a positive or negative customer experience. This is where contact center metrics come in. There's a gajillion metrics out there that you can track and improve, but 5 in particular directly impact CSAT and NPS. The first is average hold time. One of the craziest stats I've ever heard is from a study conducted by Visually. They found that the average person spends 43 days of their life waiting on the phone to talk to a service rep. 43 days. Hold time is one of the top frustrations for customers, and improving it is crucial to making customers happier. The best way to do it? Using a virtual queue and callback solution. Letting customers use the IVR to opt in for a callback from the next available agent or scheduling one at a more convenient time. Or better yet, you can let customers skip the IVR altogether by letting them use a click-to-call solution like Mindful Scheduler so they can get in queue through your website or mobile app. We've got mountains of internal data that show that when you cut down hold time, customer frustration plummets and satisfaction skyrockets. Second metric, first contact resolution. If your customers have to talk to multiple agents before getting the help they need, you can bet they're frustrated with your customer service. First contact resolution measures the ratio of customer calls resolved on the first interaction with your contact center, and I'll refer to it as FCR from here on. One study by SQM found that FCR has one of the highest impacts on CSAT and NPS. For every 1% increase in FCR, they found a 1% increase in CSAT scores and almost a 1.5-point increase in NPS. And just a quick side note here, SQM also found that higher FCR directly reduces contact center operating costs while increasing employee satisfaction. So it's a pretty important metric to keep track of. Improving FCR is like conducting a symphony. There are so many pieces that need to be in place in order to make it work. We've got tons of content on our blog showing you how, and even an entire Snackable episode walking you through it. But what it really comes down to is providing your agents with two things: great training and coaching, and a calmer customer. All right, so we've covered hold time and first contact resolution, and the last one that impacts NPS and CSAT is average handle time. This metric measures the amount of time a customer spends on the phone with an agent from start to finish. But while it may seem like having a shorter average handle time is a good thing, that's not always the case. Quick calls could just mean you have great agents. It could also mean that your agents are trying to ditch your customers. To tell the difference, you need to measure average handle time in tandem with first contact resolution. If callers aren't getting the help they need on the first call, they're going to call back more flustered and frustrated, really putting a damper on contact center efficiency. Unprepared agents are the biggest drag on average handle time. When an agent goes into a call cold, like they don't know who the caller is or why they're calling, they have to spend time figuring out the caller's situation before providing a solution. Connective tools like Mindful Handoff and Mindful Scheduler fit perfectly into this space to make agents more effective. Handoff functions between callbacks or channel transitions to collect customer-provided data through messaging, then provides that data to the agent before the call connects. And Scheduler not only allows customers to schedule a call on your website or app, it also collects their contact information, reason for calling, and website journey data, so agents can see exactly where the caller has been on the site and the resources they've already looked at. In both cases, agents go into the call knowing exactly who they're talking to and how best to help, making for quicker, more effective calls that improve the customer experience and boost overall contact center efficiency. Again, at the end of the day, it all comes back to customer convenience. Removing hold times, resolving their issues on the first go-around, and serving them quickly are key to improving CSAT and NPS scores. And lastly, to improve CSAT and NPS, you need to engage and empower your agents. We love customer service agents, but even though we might believe they're superhuman, the truth is they need just as much care and attention as your customers do. Unhappy agents take a massive toll on contact center efficiency and are less likely to go the extra mile to provide customers with a winning customer experience. Plus, unhappy agents are more likely to burn out and churn, saddling contact centers with untold hiring costs and putting an even greater burden on fellow agents who are left to pick up the slack. A common quick fix that many companies turn to are performance-based incentives that keep agents motivated. And while this is definitely important, incentives don't remove the core stressors that come with working in a contact center, namely dealing with frustrated customers. Among higher pay, better benefits, and career advancement, the best way to empower your agents and reduce workplace stress is to use the right software in your contact center. Looking back at the Gladly study I mentioned earlier, if 73% of consumers say that they're frustrated at having to repeat themselves to multiple customer service reps throughout their journey, but you can implement tech that eliminates the need for repeats, how much friendlier do you think conversations with agents will be in general? We've already talked about a ton of tools like virtual queues, call schedulers, and omnichannel handoff tech from the perspective of customer satisfaction, but these tools drastically help agent satisfaction as well. Take virtual queues and callback, for example. For customers, this software means they can skip waiting on hold and go about their day until their callback. For agents, this software removes the dreaded pressure of seemingly endless call queues and creates an environment where callers are generally friendlier and easier to talk to, since they didn't just spend the last half hour waiting with the phone glued to their ear. Other tools that can collect a caller's browsing information and feed that info to the agent lets the agent prepare to serve the customer before the call even connects, setting agents up for successful, easier calls. This kind of tech creates a positive cycle for customers and agents. Happier customers make for happier agents, and happier agents make for happier customers. Creating these winning experiences on both sides of the contact center is a surefire way of improving CSAT and NPS scores all around. After all those details, let's return to the core here. Improving CSAT and NPS really comes back to building a positive relationship with your customers and providing convenience in each step of their journey. I know I really peppered mindful into this episode, but it's such a clear fit. I mean, one of our Fortune 500 retail clients deployed Mindful and saw a 12-point increase in NPS in just 2 months. And I just really want you to do great, you know? Anyway, if you're working in the contact center, I empower you. Get after it and get those metrics bumping. This episode has been adapted from the article 4 Call Center Best Practices That Will Improve Your CSAT and NPS Scores, which can be found on Mindful's CX resource library at getmindful.com. We publish new Snackable CX episodes every week, so be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. See you next time.